Well, hello and welcome to Geordieland 1892, part of On the Volley. Keeper here, and Newcastle have booked their place in the quarter-final of the Carabao Cup, beating Bournemouth 1-0 last night. It's the second game in 4 days, playing Rio Vallecano on Saturday, where we won 2-1. Was quite a decent game, that, actually. Friendly, obviously. But last night, we were in action against AFC Bournemouth. It wasn't the prettiest of games. It was a bit frustrating at times. They seemed to do everything right. It was just the final third. We weren't very clinical, in my opinion. It was a full-strength squad. Don't get me wrong. Eddie Howe putting out the big boys. And I think that was a good idea. Getting them all playing back together. Obviously, the Premier League starts again on Boxing Day, where we're going away to Leicester. I think it was good for all of them to be on the pitch together, trying to get back into winning ways, which they did, but with the help of an own goal. Callum Wilson did have the ball in the net earlier on in the game. The referee did give it at first, but the linesman, bit late but he did pull his flag up, and he deemed it to be offside. There were 2 players who were offside, but they weren't interfering with play. But the only thing that I can think why he disallowed that goal was Joe Willock went to ground, and I feel as if maybe he may have just pulled his foot back and touched the ball onto Wilson. I've looked at different angles and I can't really see a touch, but it was the only thing that could come to mind. Maybe the linesman thought he saw that. Really don't know. But the goal didn't stand anyway. But for me, it was a perfectly good goal. Bournemouth, we've the last 5 meetings we've done very well against AFC Bournemouth. The last 5 times we've met them, 3 wins and 2 draws, and believe it or not, the first time that we ever played Bournemouth was back in 1963, and that was in the League Cup down at their place. They were called Bournemouth and Boscombe Athletic at the time, and they beat us 2-1 in that game. But last night we came out 1-0 winners, book our place, like I say, in the quarterfinals. It was due to a bit of an error, really, from Smith, the Bournemouth defender. Ball come in from Trippier. He tried to head it, and it kind of looped into his own net. It was quite bizarre, really. It seemed for a second, it just seemed to stop motion in time. It just seemed to freeze, and then it dropped in. But that was the way I saw it. I thought Newcastle did a good job last night. I thought, like I say, Bournemouth, I thought they did defend pretty well throughout the whole game. They did give us a few little scares later on. Obviously, Fabian Schär at the start of the game got a pretty nasty knock to the head as well. But you know what he's like. He got back up, and he was back in motion. Took his nails, that kid. Later on, Newcastle could have finished it all off. Chris Wood skying a shot where he had time. It was great work by Alan Saint-Maximin, who came on later in the game. His trickery down the wing was superb, and he picked out Chris Wood, who was running into the box. For me, he had loads of time. He could have placed it. He seemed to just swipe at it and panic. For me, that's not good enough. Chris Wood should be banging them home all day for me. He should have had it on target at least. So it's the 10th time in our history that we have arrived to the quarterfinals of the League Cup, or Carabao Cup as they call it now. We're all hoping, praying we can go further in this tournament. Obviously there was games last night, the likes of Southampton, Leicester, Wolves, they got through. Tonight there's other games, and Thursday night there's the Man City Liverpool game, and the draw will be made after that game on Thursday night. So like I say, 16 shots for Newcastle, 5 on target. We need to be more clinical, that's all I've got to say. Just a short one, this one, really. And And if I'm not back on here before Christmas, I would like to say a very Merry Christmas to everybody who watches the channel. And looking forward to the Leicester game and, well, obviously the draw on Thursday night for the Carabao Cup. This was Keeper from On the Volley, Geordieland 1892, and I'm out.